Election and integrity under scrutiny. We're going to focus on foundations of election fraud and documented cases. Welcome to another episode of Spin Cycle America, where we try and talk right down the middle. Sometimes, of course, we drift to one side or the other, but I do try and stay in the middle. Again, I am your host, Todd, and I hope you all had a great Father's Day yesterday and or as well as a great Father's Day weekend. Okay, let's go ahead and just dive right into this one here. Again, hello everybody. Um, Welcome to day one of our 6-day series on election integrity under scrutiny. Over the next 6 days, we're going to go ahead and look at real cases of fraud, foreign interference, mail-in voting risks, voting machine, voter rolls, finally, what actually works to fix these problems. Elections are the heart of our democracy. When people lose trust in them, they lose trust in everything. They lose trust in our government. They lose trust in people. They just lose trust in it. And if you look on X and all these places here, nobody trusts our government. Nobody trusts the elections right now. You know what? How many people actually believe your vote counts with all this stuff here, Mandarin and all this type of stuff? Nobody's going to believe that your vote counts, and people are just going to stop going to the polls. So we have to figure out how this is going to work. So whether from real issues or overblown claims, it hurts everyone. All right. So today we're going to start with the basics. What is election fraud? Well, here are some common things, or how common it is in reality. Is it really common? What does the evidence show? So there's no spin, just the facts from court records, audit, and official databases. So, like I told you before, at the very beginning when I started doing Spin Cycle America, and I mentioned it like at the beginning of everything, I'm going to give you nothing but the facts. And I back it up with where I found it at, my resources. I would recommend you listen to this week's episode and research before you make a decision. I mean, that's the problem with everybody nowadays. You look on X and you look on any of the other platforms, Facebook and all these things, and people are immediately jumping on the bandwagon of their leaders and listening to exactly what they say before they do research. Okay, I'm completely the opposite. I'll listen to what they say, and then I'm immediately grabbing my phone and I'm researching it or jumping on the internet or something and checking out to see whether that's true or not. So you need to start doing that. And that's the problem with what's going on in this world today, whether it's with elections, whether it's with the left against the right or the right against the left. Because what's happening is it's just basically leaving us, the American citizens, in the middle. So let's talk about this. So what counts as election fraud? So let's talk about that. So first, let's define it clearly. Election fraud includes things like someone voting in another person's name. Well, that's common sense, okay? But it happens. These things here that I'm going to list or tell you about, it's true. They've actually happened, okay? So I'm not just throwing something out there and just because you know what, I'm just going to pull something out of the hat and throw it out there. Fake voter registrations, tampering with absentee or mail-in ballots, uh, double voting, stuffing ballot boxes, non-citizens voting illegally. Wow, California is going through this right now. They just tried to pass something, or they're in the process of passing something on their ballots for illegals to be able to vote in their local elections. Uh, and this one here kills me here. Pardon the pun, but a dead person voting. It happens. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. But it does. Interference can also mean foreign countries trying to mess with us through hacking or spreading lies online or even insider breaking the rules, such as In 2016, Russian efforts via disinformation, social media, not direct vote changes, but they tried to say certain things and push the narrative and just kind of stretch the truth, and that happened in 2016. Even domestic issues like insider misconduct or procedural failures. So note this: isolated crimes occur on both parties. Actors have been convicted on both sides, but scale matters for outcome. So let me mention that again. Both parties have been convicted for this. Both parties. Okay, so don't think your closet is clean, whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. You're not. Your closet is just as messy as the next person's. Okay, so important point here is things do happen, but the big question is how often do they happen? Do they change the outcome of big elections? Maybe, maybe not. So here's the evidence. Rare but real. Okay, so it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough where it can change election results at times. Okay, so here's what the data shows. Organizations like the Heritage Foundation have tracked over thousands of proven cases of election fraud going back decades. These include convictions and overturned local elections. This has been ongoing for decades, and local elections have been overturned. So think about that, okay? None of the major ones have yet, okay, but mainly most of your local elections have. So think about it, people. It's real, and the worst part about it is both parties have had their hand caught in the cookie jar. Okay, so don't sit there. I know somebody's going to sit there, and somebody's probably getting all bent out of shape right about now and saying, "No, my party's all clean" and stuff like that. Research it. Trust me, your party is not clean. Okay, it is not clean. So when you sit there and you write in the comments and you leave something, please make sure you've actually researched it. Okay. For example, officials have been caught faking military ballots in Milwaukee. Look it up. People using fake addresses to register voters. Ballot harvesting schemes in a few states. False registration, such as in 2024, Georgia case was fictitiously voting voter apps. Really? Come on, people. Historical local cases like ballot brokering in Florida or double voting. That's a Republican state there, people. Like I said, it happens on both sides of the fence. Registering dead people to vote and voters and votes being cast in their name. That one kills me. I laugh every time I hear that. Um, Voter rolls. Now let me go more in depth on this dead person thing because people are like saying no, that doesn't happen, and let me explain why that happens and where that's coming from. So voter rolls often contain deceased individuals. Older studies such as the Pew Center on the state's 2012 estimated around 1.8 million dead people are still listed on voter rolls nationwide due to delays in updating records over death after death. The Heritage Foundation election fraud database, conservative tracker, okay, I already mentioned that, has documented multiple cases over the years, including 19 instances as of late 2019 of people voting or attempting to vote in the name of a deceased voter. Okay. This was in 2019, the latest. Okay. Specific examples family members. So they're having family members or others cast ballots for recently deceased relatives, such as a spouse, a parent, or isolated impersonations schemes. Some convictions involved absentee ballots sent after death. So why is this happening? Well, let me explain that. The main cause is slow maintenance of voter rolls. People die, but states rely on death records or family reports and cross checks, such as Social Security data, to remove them. Um, which delays create opportunities. So if that's delayed, somebody who's dead and hasn't been reported yet, that person could go ahead and vote for them. All right. So some of the safeguards is this. Now remember, people are individually checking it one by one. All right. But here's some of the safeguards: signature matching on mail ballots, poll books, check audits and post elections, review catch attempts. Most attempts. Many states have improved this process, so it's getting better. But remember, they're individually checking. Um, scale uh, uh, scale isolated incidents, sometimes by family members acting without authorization versus widespread conspiracy. So fact checks, big claims, such as thousands of 2020, often race or trace to errors, duplicate names are unverified lists uh, that don't hold up. So there's a lot of reasons why. So I get it, but there's a lot of people that try and slip Uncle Uncle Billy after he's been dead for a year or so through the cracks to vote. Hey, we need one more vote. Okay, so they try and slip him on through. Um, but when you look at the big picture, billions of voters cast over the years. These cases are extremely rare, so it is kind of rare, but it does happen. Okay, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't bring this up. I wouldn't talk about it. This wouldn't be something I would talk about. Okay, so in 2020, over 60 lawsuits were filed. That's only a few years back. Most were dismissed because they lacked solid evidence, but multiple recounts and audits in Georgia, Arizona, and Michigan and other states found only very little or small errors, nothing close to flipping national results. Okay, so I know that we're talking, the presidents complaining about flipping the results and stuff like that. There were small errors, but nothing that would require flipping or changing the outcome at all. By bipartisan bipartisan officials, including some appointed by Trump, like Attorney General Barr and Cybersecurity Director Krebs, called it one of the most secure elections in history. Intelligence agencies said foreign countries tried to interfere with disinformation, but they did not change actual out vote counts. So people, you need to. I'm going to back up a minute. You need to relax when you hear one party saying, "Well, this country tried to do this or this country tried to change the outcome because of this." No, it's actually false in most of that. They may have tried to, but we have safeguards in place that's preventing that from happening. None of that's happened. That Yes, Russia tried to do it in 2016, but it didn't work. Okay, they they try to do stupid things like that, but we have things in place that are preventing that. Okay, so why this matters and how we can fix all this. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. So why should you care? Here's why. Even rare fraud can hurt trust. All right. You see all this fraud going on in Milwaukee right now. You see it going on in California. You see it going on in all these other states. And if you watch some of the news, you'll see that they show all these pictures of all these people that they're trying to find that have caused all this fraud or that are in trouble for fraud. And they show a couple of people that have been arrested for fraud. This this takes away the trust that we can trust our government or people in charge of us. Okay, and where there's weaknesses that like sloppy voter rolls or weak mail mail-in ballot rules, we should fix them. Even if it's just, one slips by the crack, we got to be able to fix it. So good news is real solutions exist and they're popular across party lines. So which means everybody's looking for them and trying to fix them, okay? So here's some ideas and some things that work, but there's also a little bit of issues here. So one of the stronger voter ID laws. But here's one of the problems is, or one of the issue is that I see with the voter ID is one of the parties doesn't seem to want voter ID. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. Okay, so that you understand it, because some of you are going to go ahead and you're going to write into my comments and you're going to say that's not true or this is why and da 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 da. Okay, but when I explain this to you in a minute, you're going to say, well, yeah, maybe that's true. Okay, but here's one of the issues I see with voter ID problem is one of the parties seem to not want voter ID, and here's why. They think one of the or some of the populations are too stupid or can't or are unable to obtain an ID. So if that's you and you're going to write into my comments and say, well, they're saying it's me or whatever, then I don't know what to say. Okay, just think about it. So I'm going to pause there for a second so you can go ahead and write into the comments or you can think about that, because think about the issue, people. Everybody that's out there, that everybody that's listening to this can obtain ID. If you're able to click on this YouTube channel, you're able to get you an ID. If you're able to get into TikTok, you're able to get you an ID. If you're able to get into X, you're able to get you an ID. If you're able to get into Facebook, you're able to get you an ID. Don't let one party or somebody tell you can't get an ID. If you're breathing air, you can get you an ID. Paper ballots with risk limiting audits. Okay, so there's a way to help out. Better chain of custody for mail-in votes. Clean up voter rolls regularly. In other words, we need to check those rolls regularly so we don't have 1.8 million dead voters on the voter rolls. Are you kidding me? Holy cow! Harsh penalties for cheating. There's a novel idea. These steps can make elections both more secure, accessible. Secure elections benefit for everyone, no matter who you are and no matter who you vote for, no matter what party you're in, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or you just don't know. Okay? It doesn't matter. This helps us all believe that our vote counts. So in closing, I just want to wrap up day one. Tomorrow, on day two, we're going to dig into foreign interference, what Russia actually did in 2016, what other countries have tried to do, and what's changed since. If you want more evidence or information based discussion, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit subscribe, hit the bell below so you don't miss the rest of the series. All sources are linked in the description below. And thank you for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow on the next episode of Spin Cycle America, and you all have an outstanding day.